last couple games we've talked about perseverance as a team, just sort of sticking with it. Those first two periods, maybe need a little bit more, but how did you sort of see this group sort of push through that in front of you?
I mean, like I think I mentioned before, it's league's a hard league to have your best every night. So I think that's what good teams do, is just find ways to get through games when you're not at your best, or maybe the puck's not staying in your stick, it's bouncing everywhere. It's just, there's going to be games like that, and you got to give credit. They have a really good team over there, and they're playing really well, and they put us on our heels at times, but we bend, didn't break, and a lot of minor good stuff too, like Billy's fight. Nico's blocking shots with his head, and you can't take that stuff for granted. It pays off down the road. Good for them.
Were you kind of go ahead, Mike?
How about the shootout, Jake? What's going through your mind there? Obviously, Russ the first one there, to have Sid there. What's going through your mind there?
Yeah, it's tough with Sid because he always takes the same route every time, but he has a million different moves he can do, and he comes so slow. So he gives himself time to maneuver, and sort of makes you wait, and he's got so many options, and you just try to stay with him as long as you can. And when you lose your speed like that, it's a little bit hard to move, but lucky I got a pat on it.
It's a pretty big test you guys just had against Montreal, a pretty big test tonight against Pittsburgh. How important do you think it is to kind of go through that this early in the season?
Yeah, obviously we've played some good teams, Colorado twice, Edmonton. We had a tough stretch in California that we wanted to come home and regroup and rebound, and so far we've done that. You could ask every player in the league, there's no bad teams anymore. Every team is a good hockey team, and every team can beat you on any night. So I think that's our mindset right now, is you don't take anyone for granted. Every game's important, and we see at the end of the year, playoffs are separated by 1 or 2 points, so it's crucial every night.
What does it mean to a group when you sort of set out at the start of the season, say that this is a place we want to make it difficult for teams to play, right? And you have to execute on that, and you guys have been able to do that so far. Like, what are those little building block foundations?
Yeah, no, you're right. It's every team in the league would say the same thing. They want their home building to be, a place that you're comfortable in, and other teams aren't. And word travels around the league quick, through players and through things like that. I remember playing in St. Louis, and other teams hated coming into our building, and that was just talked about throughout the league. And you sort of want to try to get that mindset in your opposing team. It's not easy, but it takes time. But we want to take pride on our home ice and play well in front of our fans for first and foremost, and then make it hard on others.
Thanks, Jake. We've talked so much about perseverance in games, sort of just sticking with it, maybe, trying to find that rhythm. Didn't seem that there was a ton at the beginning there, but again, another building block here to...
Yeah, I feel like those games, maybe last year we end up losing or don't find a way to get even a point out of it. So it was one of those games where they've been finding ways. They've been playing a prideful, competitive style of play all year, and we knew coming into it they're right behind us in the standings, divisional opponents, so it was going to be a tough game. And I think our focus was keeping their number one power play off the ice. We did that for the most part. We would have liked to spend a little bit more time in the O-zone, but all in all, I think everybody contributed, and again, a big 2 points.
What makes them so hard to spend that time in the O-zone for you guys but then also just wait for your chances there, right?
Well, they've got a bunch of guys. They're a core group that have played together for 15, 20 years. They can read off one another. Those players it doesn't matter their age, they're still such incredible hockey players, and they can make the right dumps or put the puck in places where they can get it back, or their line mate can get it back. And it's a style of play where you create chaos in the offensive zone, our defensive zone, and wears the team down, you outchange them, and next thing you know, you're in your zone for too long, and breakdowns happen. So we didn't have it too much, but it wasn't a perfect game by any means, but a big win.
Do you feel that this group has been more opportunistic with their moments this season? We were just talking to Jake, said this might be a game that we maybe didn't win. You kind of said that last year. Are you seeing that a little bit more in terms of...
Well, hopefully we are getting mature about it, understanding the score, time of game. We've talked about that a lot this year as well, just straight from training camp, is just recognizing time of the game, recognizing how the games may be going, how if we have the momentum, how to keep it, if it's not going our way, to get it back. There's a bunch of different things that can kind of go into that, but our process has been pretty good, just finding a way to get the puck into their zone, getting it across blue lines. situational awareness altogether. And again, something we maybe have built on since last season. Want to have it be a focal point, and we're finding a way to make sure we're getting these points here early in the season.
How's your face?
It's great. Yeah, yeah. Modeling days are long gone. Yeah.
What was the talk at this in the locker room here, second intermission, knowing that Pittsburgh really pushed the pace there in the second? I guess you felt a little fortunate to come out of that 1-1.
Yeah, I mean, the first period, I would say they controlled most of the play. Like, they were taking it to us. We shouldn't have been surprised by that. They've got good players. They've got good offensive players. The D that jump in the rush, the Latangs, Carlsons. It was just, we're a 1-1 hockey game. We probably don't have our best by how the first 40's gone. We find a way to win a period. We're going to win a game. If we can keep the game tied, we're going to find a way to get some points out of it. So I think it's a maturity step for us to be able to find a way to get points out of that. Jake, of course, played great and made some big saves, which is a huge part of us. So, we'll take the positives out of it.
Talk about the first period you're saying being hemmed in. Arseniy Britsiuk, the way he's been playing defensively and his offensive role, how big of that goal was for you guys at the end of the first?
It's a big momentum shifter. You come into the end of the first with kind of feeling good about yourself, and great individual effort to first off move his feet to get up there, great stick, turning that into offense. So he's just been getting better and better every game, which has been huge for us.
Are you looking for a game-changing hit at that moment, or was it something that you just saw an opportunity to make the hit?
Yeah, the time and place, opportunity. We didn't really have a great start, so try to do something to kind of get the guys going. The hit's one thing, and then the fight after. It's just kind of what happens sometimes after hits. Thought it was clean. I'm glad to see he was able to come back, but part of my game that I'm always going to keep going with, and hopefully we can get momentum and stuff like that.
Better a game where you guys had to do a lot of defending, but waiting for your opportunistic moments like Grits had there. I mean, what do you sort of make of the way particularly those first two periods went and that patience that was required?
Yeah, we knew they're a team that spends a lot of time in ozone. They did a good job of keeping their momentum in our zone and getting the line change. We didn't really get the pucks out. We didn't really establish the ozone in their end. So they were kind of coming at us in waves that we had to manage. And I think we did a fairly good job of keeping them to the outside. We didn't really let them in to the grade A's, but we just knew there was going to be that kind of game where we had to be patient, and we came out with 2 points.
Just how was Jake, from your vantage point, just seeing what Jake was able to do back there for you guys in those moments?
He was great. He looked confident. He gave a lot of comfort for us, too, that we know that we have him there as a safety valve. He had a great game and kept us in the game, and played great on shootouts as well.
What are you thinking in the shootouts there, for you in particular?
I just try to read the goalie. Obviously, you have a kind of an idea even before the game starts of how the goalie plays and stuff, and you just try to see what's out there. You've made so many hundreds and thousands of shootouts that you just kind of know about angles and all that stuff, so you just try to make the best out of it to the goalie's weakness.
When you see him bite on that last move, what is that kind of feeling like for you?
Yeah, obviously it felt good that the preparations and stuff that you put into it kind of pays off for the team to get that win. So obviously it felt good.
Sheldon, we talked this morning about how it's going to be a collective effort on the defensive side of the puck. You probably, I would imagine, feel you defended a little too much in this game, but when you guys did, things were really kept to the outside for the most part. Your thoughts on just that part of the game from your team?
Yeah, I thought we did a pretty good job of that, save for a few instances. That's what I liked about it. I thought the guys did defend hard. Just defended too much. We did manage the puck well enough or execute on offense out of our zone well enough to really assert ourselves on offense, but obviously did enough to get the points today.
Sheldon, what did you like about the discipline of your team tonight, not taking the penalties and just allowed them the one power play?
Yeah, really a key to the game going into the game, and then as it turns out, obviously it's with this being as tight as it is, it's great. I hated the penalty that we did take, but liked that it was only one, and our penalty kill was up to the task.
What is the significance to you, 7 straight home victories?
You want to win games at home. I think last year we had some real struggles, getting our game going and finding consistency in this building. So it's something that we talked about throughout last season, something we talked about in training camp and preseason and all of that. It's great. Especially thought, in the third period, when we needed a little more juice, I thought our fans were great here today. That was helpful in kind of a sleepy game, like for them to bring a little extra in the third was nice. Obviously, we want that trend to continue, and at the same time, figure our game out on the road.
And the effort of Jake Allen tonight.
Jake was great. I think we just talked about it. We didn't give up a great deal, but they had some surges where there's some activity there. I thought he did a great job. Obviously, perfect in the shootout, which is huge. And probably the biggest thing is you're playing in a game like that where we're not generating a lot of offense. The game's as tight as it is. There's no room for error for the goaltender. So, we've had some bad luck or bad bounces and things that haven't gone our way in the last little bit, but none of that fazed Jake today.
Pretty big test you guys had the other night against Montreal, big test today against Pittsburgh. Just wondering what the value is for the group and kind of having those sort of bigger moment games this early in the year.
Yeah, we've had lots of them. Those teams you mentioned, the two games just coming back from the road, those are real good teams, but I feel like every team we've played is really good. Even some of the games that we've played that you think it's a team that's that didn't make the playoffs last year or whatever it is. You look now, those teams are surging, and everyone's good. Every game is good, but we've met our fair share of challenges. Obviously, they have elite players on this team here today. Montreal has elite players. We've seen a number of other teams, that we've managed really well in the early going of the season, whether it's playing against, star players or playing against really good teams or both. Usually they go hand in hand. That's all good for our team. I don't think any of that sort of stuff phases us. And obviously we're hoping on the other side that the other team is sort of talking about us in that way.
Sheldon, talk about the mentality of your team, knowing that, sometimes you don't have your A game every night, but to win with your B and C type game.
Yeah, it's very important, and that's what we didn't like about our game on the road on this most recent road trip. Yeah, just when you play like that and you're giving up that many chances on the rush and such, you don't have a chance to win the game when you don't have your best. You're making it easy on the opponent. That's especially as shorthanded as we are, on the back end today. You're asking a lot of the group. You got to be pretty diligent defensively to not give up the big chance. And, for the most part, we did a good job of that. And it allows you to hang around in games and collect points along the way.
How much did the penalty kill miss Cody Glass when he was out?
I don't use Glasser that much on the PK, but he is an option for us. I think, to me, it's more the 5-on-5. Like he makes a huge difference for us there. He's an option on the PK. He was really good on faceoffs today. Gives us some extra guys for sure. I think we missed him in lots of areas. That's been very evident with the impact he's made. I thought again today that was our best line. It's 2 games in a row, and I don't know how many goals we've scored in the last couple of games, but obviously the one today comes from Gritsuk, and you get Glass and Palat in the last game. Like, these guys have done a nice job, and Glasser's a big part of it.
Last one here. Talk to me about how Arseni has developed his game, particularly in his own end, because I think a lot of fans coming in maybe expected him to flourish offensively, but he looks wise beyond his years.
Yeah, he's been really good. Smart player. He made a few mistakes early in preseason that we talked to him about. And he's able to make quick adjustments and really hasn't made the same mistakes since. So that's a sign of intelligence, which is so vital and so important. So that gives him a chance. We just talked about it with our game, Grits, when he doesn't have his best game, there's a solid foundation there, and that's so important for any player, but especially one coming into the league. Like, he does a lot of things well, even when he's not having his best game on offense or hasn't had that many touches of the puck. He's reliable. He's hard on the puck. He can skate with anybody. Again today, I'm putting him out consistently against Crosby or Malkin, and not even thinking twice about it. So that's a big part of it. And there was different times I felt about changing up the lines throughout our game here today, but that Glass, Gritsik, Palat group has been so good through 2 games. I didn't want to mess with that one, and didn't love a lot of the other options with the other guys, so just kind of let it ride. But it's all speaks to the confidence that we have in Grits and the importance of Glass, and it seems like whatever line Palat's been playing on for the early part of the season is our best line. So he's complementing those guys really well too. Yeah, thanks.